You talk about always coming from a very supportive family. When did you come out? Was
Yeah.
that were you really nervous
Oh
about
yeah.
that? Was that how did that conversation go?
Man,
And
yeah, I know exactly how that conversation went. So I was born and raised Catholic, and
right,
I've been in Catholic grade school since kindergarten. I graduated from Pius High School, but again, I feel so lucky because for as I don't I personally don't identify as religious. I identify as spiritual, and I respect how I was brought up. I respect Catholicism and so many other things. But I feel lucky that above all else, everything it just honestly, for as cliche it was just love. And I feel it was always treat others how you want to be treated. It was always the golden rule, and that sort of always trumped everything else. And my great grandma, who I have my sleeve for, it's a bunch of lilies, and it's a very familial tattoo. Her name was Lillian, and she had a huge part in helping raise me. And I got to spend almost 20 years with my great grandma, that I feel lucky. She literally always had a rosary in her hand, taught me how to, pray the rosary, and was very much a church going woman. But at the same, I introduced her to one of my first girlfriends when I was in college. And that was not easy, introducing, for me, I was 18, 19, to tell my great grandma, like, this is my girlfriend. I don't know if she understood, because as you know, I'm sure
yeah,
old people use that term differently sometimes. But I think she knew, because she knew me well enough. But again, love and treat others how you want to be treated, sort of, like I said, just always overcame everything. And so when I told my mom, obviously before I told my grandma, I was in the car with her, and she was driving me back to Madison, I think my freshman year, and we were playing a CD at the time. I was always into music, and I had made a CD. And I think at the time I looked at her, and I was on my phone, and she was driving, and I remember I was like, my girlfriend at the time when I came out, her name was Emily, and I told my mom, I was like, I love Emily. And my mom was like, I love Emily too. And I was like, I looked at her, and I was like, no, I really love Emily. And my mom's like, I know. And I was like, all right, like, that's sweet. We can move her along.
yeah,
And actually then, I think a couple weeks later, I told my dad, actually, after a basketball game.
yeah.
And for some reason, I feel like we were in North Carolina, or we played North Carolina State, NC State. And I remember coming up, it's very similar. And I remember being a little afraid, but at the same time, he just hugged me, and he was like, so? And it was one of the coolest things in the world. Like, I think to like get that off your chest, because I think you could joke about it with my mom. I think she says she knew I was gay when I was in like the 4th or 5th grade.
Hmm.
And I think it takes a while I had to wait for myself to come to terms with what that word meant. Kids still use the slang like that's gay. And I grew up around that and not knowing what it really meant. So once I figured it out, and then you realize, like, oh man, that's me. And then you realize that it's so different at the time from everybody else, and figuring all of that out, putting it all together, then that sort of adds to everybody's, I think, coming out story. And everybody works at a different pace. So that was just, I feel lucky. Mine was so young.